What's up, Scouters? So recently it's been confirmed that Seungri will be enlisting in the military next month. And before you guys are tricked by all these poorly written articles online, let me set one thing clear. Some of the articles going around right now are claiming that Seungri will be enlisting on March 6th, which is a Friday. But no soldier enlists on a Friday. The Korean army denied that March 6th is Seungri's enlistment date, and has also added that they cannot reveal the actual time and the location of his enlistment, as that's personal information. Regardless of when though, if Seungri joins the military, his case will be taken to the military courts, and if he's found guilty, he'll be punished under military jurisdiction. But I've been talking about this for a while now, so you guys are probably already familiar with this, but what does this all actually mean for Seungri? I mean, surfing through the nets, it's really interesting to see a mixed reaction from internet users, with some claiming that enlisting in the army was exactly what Seungri wanted, and some claiming the exact opposite. So if you've been going around the internet trying to find out what's probably going to happen to Seungri, you're probably really confused. But don't worry guys, because I got you guys covered on what's expected to come, because if you didn't know already, I was a member of the Korean military police when I was in the military. So I've dealt a lot of guys who were in a similar situation as Seungri, and I've seen a lot of military trials myself. So without me dragging this talk, let's get into it. So before I even tell you anything, it is generally understood that the military's trials are harsher than the civilian ones. And that's probably true, but mostly to people who have committed a violation of military laws. Like if you were a soldier at the time of your crime, it is almost guaranteed that your punishment is going to be harsher than if you were a civilian. But in the situation of Seungri, or as a matter of fact anyone like Seungri who is being trialed for something they have committed before they enlisted in the military, the situation is a little bit more confusing. So I was a military police, right? And one of the many duties we had was escorting these defendants to court and then standing guard and keeping the trial in order. So naturally, I've seen many trials myself, and judging just from the trials that I have personally attended where the defendant was like Seungri and was being trialed for something he has done before enlisting in the military, I would still say the punishments of the military trials were stronger than those of the civilian ones. But one thing we have to set clear is that it's not like the military is making up new laws or punishing their soldiers under new charges. I mean, they do have their unique set of laws, but that's for defendants who are being trialed for something they have committed as a soldier. For example, like this law, 품위유지 의무 위반, which roughly translates to violation of the duty of maintaining dignity, which, as the name probably shows, can be used to almost anyone who has done something wrong. But anyways, going back to the main topic, from my personal experience and the trials that I've seen, it's more so that the judges of these military trials are more likely to give out maximum sentences within the permissible boundaries of the law. For example, if the specific law you have broken is punishable by a maximum of 5 years of prison time and $5,000 of fine or less, what I felt like was that something you would get 2 years in a civilian court would maybe result in 3 or 4 years in military trials. And this is probably why with Seungri's case, the military continues to claim that their trial process will be just like that of a civilian one, because really they're not adding any new charges and they're acting within the boundaries of the law. Consequently, it's very hard to make a guess on what kind of sentences Seungri will be getting, because that's completely up to the military judge. But I think a lot of variables can play a role in making the military courts act in a rather irregular way in this situation. For example, the fact that Seungri is a very famous public figure, and the fact that the press will be all over the results of Seungri's case is probably a huge burden to the military. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no need to go around the internet trying to find out how many years Seungri is going to get in military prison, because even as a person who has seen a lot of military trials, I can almost guarantee that guess is going to be wrong. But regardless, I can still tell you what's probably going to happen to Seungri after he enlists, and what's going to happen if he actually ends up with the sentence. So after Seungri enlists, he'll go through weeks of boot camp, during which he can't be a defendant, suspect, or anything like that. Someone in boot camp is just a newbie, nothing more than that. He's going to go through all the trainings like he's supposed to, but once he is released from boot camp and is stationed somewhere, it is most likely that he'll be arrested as an unconvicted prisoner and put in his division's military prison. Of course, whether they arrest him or not is up to the military prosecutors and the judges, but when I was still serving, a lot of people in a similar situation with Seungri ended up waiting for their trials in prison, because people in situations like this have high chances of becoming a deserter. Fast forward to if Seungri is found guilty and he does end up getting a prison sentence, he'll serve his time in the Korean military prison. But if he receives a sentence longer than his military service time, he'll be transferred to a regular prison and finish his time there. Of course, this is all under the assumption that Seungri is actually guilty and he does get actual prison time. And even if I lay it out for you guys in a chronological order, this entire process is probably going to come very slowly, as I've seen many people in my prison staying for months waiting for their investigation and trials. Anyhow, this is it for today. Hopefully I answered some of your questions. So if I did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. Until then guys, see you next time.